Okay, hamstrings and just a touch of back today. So there will be like 4 to 5 movements for the hammies, and I think like two movement, two movements. That's plural for the back. After that, we get in the car talk, and we will talk about how to start bodybuilding. That will be the topic for today's car talk, because yesterday I got a comment on one of my videos from a guy asking about how did I start bodybuilding? Did I do some strength stuff, like powerlifting or whatever before I started bodybuilding? And I'm gonna talk about what I did, and if I would do anything different, how would I start if I was starting from scratch, from all over again. Okay, let's go, man. Lying hamstring curl, 3 sets. Remember, guys, when you're doing any type of hamstring curl, always keep your toes pointed towards your knee throughout the whole movement. That way you'll get a much better hamstring contraction. And when you're doing this one, lying hamstring curl, remember to push your hips into the pad and don't let your butt come off the pad if you're trying to work your hammies. If you're not, then do whatever. I don't care. Let's go. 8 to 12 reps. Everything. Okay, I wanted to do some seated hamstring curl, but it's taken, so I'm gonna do a standing one now and then a seated one later on. 3 sets here, same shit, 8 to 12 reps each set. I start off with my left leg, then I rest 30 seconds, go right leg, rest again 30 seconds, go left, go right. So 30 seconds of rest in between, and then I can just keep on going and not waste too much time. Because after this session, I need to go to the butcher and grab some meat. I need some beef and turkey. I'm low in stock. Okay, seated hamstring curl. Let's do 2 sets. First set, heavy set, like 8 to 12. Second set, I'm gonna do a rest pause set. So I'm gonna pump out as many as I can. I think I will probably fail in like 8 to 12 rep range. Then rest 30 seconds, go again, and that will be it. Okay, so second set, you can call it's a prolonged first set. I mean, it's the same set as the first one, it's just prolonged by 30 seconds rest and another set of curls until failure. Okay, let's go. Let's see. My quads are freaking too big, man. I can't fit into a machine. Okay, now it's time to do some hyperextensions. It's a weird thing when it comes to this exercise. I feel like I get more out of this exercise when I'm doing it body weight, when I don't have to focus on holding a plate in my hand I feel a better contraction, and I feel like I get a better squeeze out of the exercise. And I fail, you know, with body weight. If I do this body weight, I fail at like 10 reps. If I had like a 20 kilo plate, so 45-pound plate to my hands, then I can get like 12, 15. Because when I increase the weight, when I use some extra weight, I feel like the quality of my reps drops because of that, because I'm holding a weight. I don't know what it is, but yeah, so I'm just gonna do 3 straight sets here, body weight each set, reps as many as I can, all up until failure, and that's pretty much it, man. Okay, let's freaking go. Okay. Okay, that's it, man. 4 movements for the hemis, 2 for the back. For back, I did 4 sets of flat pullovers on a cable with a rope, and I did 2 sets of seated upper back rows. Now, let's get into the topic of how I started bodybuilding and what's my advice for you guys. How should you start? Should you focus on building up your strength first, or should you just go bodybuilding split and just do bodybuilding workouts, bodybuilding type of workouts? I started off with doing only bodybuilding workouts. So my split when I first started off was something like chest and triceps, back and biceps. I did legs, and then I did shoulders, and then I did arms. Or sometimes I combined shoulders and arms in one day. So I started off with bodybuilding split, and I don't regret it at all. My advice for you is start off with a bodybuilding type of split, like a bro split that I did, or start off with push-pull legs. And don't focus too much on building up your strength in like a power lifter type of way, doing 1 rep maxes, 3 rep maxes, 5 rep maxes. None of that, man. If your goal is to build muscle, you need to, you don't need to. This is just my advice. If you want to build muscle, then you should train as a bodybuilder. Just think about it. If you're going to play some type of a sport, let's say basketball, you wouldn't start off playing, I don't know, cricket or some other sport. You wouldn't start training for like cricket or some other sport. You would do exactly what basketball guys do, guys that train basketball. So same thing with bodybuilding. Bodybuilding and powerlifting are 2 completely different sports. And the way that powerlifters and bodybuilders work out, it's completely different. Bodybuilders are trying to make the exercise as hard as possible and put as much tension on a single muscle as possible. They're trying to isolate one muscle, one body part. But powerlifters, they don't care about how much work their muscles get. All they care about is using leverages and making the exercise as easy as possible, trying to lift as much weight as possible. So if you start off, let's say, with a powerlifting split and you're building up your strength, then when you switch to bodybuilding, you will need to completely change your training style, training principles. You will need to completely change the way you train, the way everything, man. So you will have to rewire your brain. You rewire your brain on how to approach an exercise. So honestly, don't train like a bodybuilder. Don't do that. Just stick to a bodybuilding split. That's what I did. And almost every single uh, professional bodybuilder that knew that his goal was bodybuilding at the end of the day, that his goal is to build as much muscle as possible, all of them started off, not all of them, most of them started off with training strictly bodybuilding. They didn't combine 2 sports into one. So you shouldn't do that either. Now, what else can I say? Yeah, one more thing. For example, if you train like a power lifter and you get strong, really strong, let's say you get to a, I don't know, 3-plate flat bench, you get to a 5-plate deadlift. Then when you go to bodybuilding, you will need to lower the weight by crazy amount because you will need to focus on just feeling one specific body part when you're training, when you're doing those exercises. And it can become complicated and very hard for you to completely switch your training approach. So don't do that because honestly I think you're going like one step backwards if you approach your bodybuilding training like that, with starting off with building up your strength and things like that. If you start off doing bodybuilding type of workouts, you will get stronger. If you eat a lot of food, if you eat in a caloric surplus, if you're getting enough rest, you will get stronger, man. It's impossible not to get strong. So your body will just naturally build more muscle. Stronger muscle will become a bigger muscle, and honestly, I don't see the point in going for strength training before you get into bodybuilding. Then another advice I would give you is don't do flat bench because you won't see maybe one, let's say maybe a few bodybuilders today do flat bench, and those are the number of those guys is very little. Let's just say like that, because flat bench is a horrible exercise when it comes to training your chest. It puts your chest in a vulnerable position. You can injure yourself pretty easy, and most of the bodybuilders don't do that. Same thing for deadlifts. You won't see too many pros doing deadlifts. There are some, but most of them don't do it. Some people enjoy doing it, they connect well with deadlifts, but most of the guys don't do it. If you enjoy it, you feel it, great, man, go for it. But flat bench, honestly, I think I think no one is doing flat bench. You might see some guys from 90s era like Kevin Levrone doing flat bench or Ronnie Coleman, but other than that, not many guys are doing it because it's not a good movement for bodybuilding. If your goal is powerlifting, then hey man, do whatever. I don't know nothing about powerlifting, so I'm not gonna give you any advice for that. But bodybuilding, no, just don't do it. Squats, if they suit you and your body composition, if you can keep your feet pretty narrow and you can go up and down like a piston, without the bar going forward or backwards. If you're built like Tom Platz, then hey, squats, bodyweight squats, barbell squats, free weight barbell squats are good for you and you can do that. Okay, I think I've explained everything. And yeah, final message, just stick to a bro split or push-pull leg split and train like a bodybuilder if your goal is to build as much muscle as possible. Strength will come on its own naturally as you get bigger and strong. I mean, as you eat more food, as you do this more often, strength will just come on its own. So don't worry about building up your strength before you start building muscle. Okay, that's it, man. I hope you learned something today. I hope I made your decision of how to approach bodybuilding easier. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I'm out tomorrow, rest day. And on Monday, we kill quads. Can't freaking wait. Okay, guys, thank you all for watching. I'm out.